everybody. I have a special guest, Mary. Good to see
Hi.
you.
Good to see
Well,
you
Miss
too,
Mary,
Robyn.
pronounce your last name.
Gundrum, exactly as it's spelled. It's a
Okay.
compound word.
I was going to say Gundrum, but I didn't know if I was butchering your name.
Most people do, and it's so easy.
It's easy. I know. I was going to say it
Yeah,
just like it sounds. So, hello,
that's right.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. So I see we have Ruth. Hello, Ruth. Ruth has a show. Ruth's show is after yours on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Hi, Ruth.
So, so Mary's going to have her show debuting tomorrow at 4 p.m. So tune in for that. Let me see what we got. We have Robert. Hello, Robert. Would like a message if we have time. Let me see who else. Richard. Hello, Richard. Thank you for your donation, Richard. Glad to see all of you. Veronica's here. Veronica lives in Australia.
Oh, cool.
So it's morning time for her. So it's good to see her. She's a wonderful viewer. I really enjoy having her on here. So
Nice.
great. We have Tamara. Tammy, I call her Tammy. She's one of my friends. Candace
I
is
had a
here.
friend named Tamara as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. So we have Joyce Hartman. Greetings from Washington, she says. Oh, I just love all these viewers that are coming in. So Candace is on here. That's my daughter. And sometimes my granddaughter comes on in her mother's name. Lonnie Mae. Kavita's here. Kavita says hi, Robin, Tiffany, and everyone. So we're just saying hello to each other.
Hello,
So
everyone.
I saw you on Marsha's show. Marsha has a show on Monday evenings. And what was crazy was, man, you were hitting me with messages. It was a great show, actually. And then Tiffany typed in that you lived in my area.
Yeah.
And so that was great. And we've gone to lunch twice and great conversation. You're a wonderful
Yeah.
human being. I really love you. And so you
Oh,
do
thank
many
you.
different.
So it takes one to know one, Robyn.
Thank you. And I feel like you're helping me on my journey. I just feel like there's a reason why we're connected. And I just get such good vibes off of you. So
We
we have
all
Linnell.
are here to help each other.
And that's the thing. And I believe that. And so I think all of us are just wonderful. And the viewers, we have some good viewers, you know. If there's anyone that hops in that's not being so nice, they either eliminate themselves or Tiffany, the producer will get rid of them. But we are also are on subscribers only. So it takes a few minutes after you subscribe before you can make a comment. But so that being said, if you're watching the show and you would like to comment on the live show, please hit the subscribe button. Also like the show. That always helps. We're also on Rumble. Oh, and I keep forgetting we're on Twitter too. So I'm supposed to retweet the show and I always forget. Do you do Twitter, Mary?
Not too much. Not too much. I just started getting into Instagram. It's social media is such a challenge for me.
Yes, I forget too because I'm busy doing other things. And so
That's
Linnell
it.
says she's driving. She's just listening. Yeah, and I don't know. The energy is really strange lately. Lots of things are happening. So I feel like, and I don't know if this was is with any of the other viewers, but like my equilibrium is off. So almost like I'm drunk. I'm falling down and stumbling around, and my ears are ringing. So I'm having that a lot too. So getting all these
Yeah.
downloads. I don't know how you're feeling, Mary, if you're getting any of those.
I had heavy buzz in the ears today. But yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of, because of the planetary alignments and that eclipse that's occurring in the new moon tomorrow. You feel it before, and we got Mercury going to be going into retrograde. I think it's next week, and that really does affect us. Whether we know it or not. I was having a lot of like flashbacks of life, of my life and things that I did, and it's like, I don't know if it's just bringing up memories for other purposes other than showing me how much I've grown, how far I have come. Knowing that I don't want to return to a lot of those things, but a lot of them were pleasant too. But it's really a lot of downloads, like you said, Robyn.
Yes. I'm looking at my bright light over there. I don't know why it's so bright today. I had it on before. I didn't realize it was so bright. But I
The
am doing
fairies
my
were
show in my daughter's office from now on. It's a more peaceful environment. And so for me, and I enjoy my space at home, but there's just a lot going on. And this is just so peaceful. And she has a lot of
I get it.
elementals around in her house. So it's great. But so what is your show going to be about, Mary? What are you going to be talking about?
A variety of things. I am Wellness Mary because I actually, career wise, I started in functional medicine, nutrition, and fitness. So that's where the wellness comes from. So my tagline is that I nourish mind, body, and soul. I've had my gifts since I was a child, but I blocked them out. An ordained minister, as I believe you are as well. And I continue education in spiritual counseling. So my topics will go from maybe nutrition, balancing in life. I plan on having several guests, because I really don't like to hear myself talk all that much. But I do a lot about soul connection and finding that time to go within in the quiet time and nurturing that part of us, that soul that's so important. Because really we think about nourishing our body with food, but what about the other parts? Rest
That's
and all the
true.
things that we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, so it's all about your mind, body, and soul. Really,
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand that. People, and actually, this is what I realized: staying angry, and so, and actually, being unforgiving, I guess, and holding grudges, and why you did this to me, blah blah blah. I would stay so angry. That's when I had the most medical problems. They were trying to diagnose me with multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia and all this stuff. Once I learned that I'm causing all of this and learned to love myself because I didn't love myself. I went through self-hate as when I was younger, and when I started loving myself, my health improved, the people around me improved. There's always going to be somebody that's even in your family that's going to be a jerk, you know, but you don't have to let that inside your vessel. So you can let them be
Absolutely.
like that, shield yourself.
Absolutely. And we don't realize that the emotional and mental manifests into the physical. I love the work that Louise Hay did on that, because there's a connection and correlation to the body type parts and the organs and functions with where the emotion is or where the trauma was that we received.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought her up. I love her, and I've had several of her books in my life that have really helped me phenomenally. And one thing that she said was about looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself that you're beautiful. Robyn McGuire,
Right.
I I am so beautiful, and and really loving yourself, giving yourself hugs, like just really feeling it, like your
That's it.
ancestors are really loving you and hugging you at the same time. I started doing that, and what a big improvement. It really
Yeah,
helped.
it's really, it stems from false program beliefs that we have about ourselves, from what other people have projected upon us. So it isn't even our truth that we carry around. And to clear that away, and when you get to that enlightened awakening and connecting to who you truly are, your divine being, it's a wonderful thing. And that's what I do with the spiritual counseling. You know, we go through a process. Everyone, as much as we have our differences, there are so much that connects us because we've all had some kind of trauma in one way or another. And when you start to talk and share, it helps the other people know. I like, even when I, many years ago in another career life, when I was doing personal training, when I started to open up and share about myself, the obesity and the struggles that I had as a child and early adulthood, my clients connected with me because I knew what it was like. I knew what it was like to go into the dressing room when it was springtime to try on bathing suits, or you're going to that great event and you're trying to get a nice dress and you're in there crying because you're just so disappointed with your body image and who you are. And I lived it.
And that's the thing that I've been going through right now, too. And I had a wonderful therapist. Many years ago, I had this therapist who taught me mindfulness. So I learned how to be mindful. He taught me how to meditate, and he did yoga, and really taught me a lot of valuable things. Breath work. Oh my goodness, the mantras and everything that go along with that. He really taught me a lot of stuff that helped me realize that, I'm causing myself all this stuff when I can just learn to just be. Just be.
Yeah. But that's our society. We're always 10 steps forward and we're not in the moment. We're missing life because we're either, you know, thinking about the past, which brings us to depression, or we're projecting the future. We're thinking about the next step and where we got to go and, oh, what time is it? I got to go there. And you're missing the point, the present, being here. And when you talked about the breathing, most people don't use the full capacity of their lungs because they walk around shallow breathing because they're always in such a hurry. So being mindful and stopping yourself throughout the day and taking those big belly breaths and those deep centering breaths really keep you connected to your soul, to your being, and knowing that it's all within you, and what's going on outside you is exactly that. It's happening outside of you.
And that's what I'm still learning. But I'll catch myself throughout the day and I'm like, I'm not breathing at all. Like,
It
wait a minute.
happens. It
Yeah, I'm just
happens.
like going really fast. And I realize, holy crap, I'm not breathing. So then I stop. So that's one thing I've learned. I catch myself. And
And that's
it's
great.
okay. Yes, and it's okay that like a negative thought will come in, and it's okay to remember the past, but you don't want to stay in there.
That's
And
right. You
so,
don't want to unpack.
yeah, you don't. And so the good thing about the past, because we've all lived, we all have a past. Some have good past, some have bad, some abuse, different things that have happened. The good thing is it teaches you. You're learning. And especially in a relationship, you learn in your next relationship what you don't want and what you're not going to put up with. And so I feel like my past, because I want to help women who have gone through abusive relationships and stuff like that. How can I relate with someone if I've never been there myself? And so,
Right.
having that past, like you said, of going through the obesity and I realize now all the stuff that I held inside of me and all the anxiety and the PTSD and everything caused my cortisol levels to be through the roof, which packs on this stuff. And these are things that I'm learning. And I'm so glad that you have a show now so we can learn more things about stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And I welcome questions and people to, even email me if there's a topic that they would like me to touch on, because that will help me, because I really want to get the messages out there. And, you talk about the past, and we all have that trauma. And when we start to clear that out, and you said, sometimes you forget and you catch yourself with the program false thoughts coming in. It's a practice, and that's it. You have to be mindful and stay in that practice. And none of us are perfect. And when you get into bad relationships, and where did that pattern start? And ask yourself, what is in me that attracted that type of a relationship? Because you can't blame the people outside. We brought that in. We allowed that in our lives. And what is lacking within us that allowed that? That's where the healing begins.
And you know what? That's absolutely correct. Once I learned that, it was like, wow. And so it was another therapist that told me, because I went through like this dark period in my time. And the original therapist that I had got a new job at the state hospital. And I loved her. She was constantly giving me helpful stuff that she printed off for me and everything. And she left. So I had to pick another therapist. And this lady, I thought she was so rude. She chewed gum while she was talking to me, and she blamed me for everything. And I walked out of there. She was like, "Did you ever think about what it is that's inside of you that's causing all of this? What is it that's inside of you that's causing this abuse?" And I thought, "You jerk. You're acting like you're telling me that I'm the one that caused all this. I don't deserve this." I was so upset, and I said, "I do not want her anymore." Got a different therapist, which the one that taught mindfulness and stuff like that. Well, later on, he helped me to realize, because he was so kind and gentle with me, because when you start off barking out at me, I take it offensively. Well, I did. He was so gentle. He made me realize that I was kind. I attracted it. And actually, throughout my whole life, I attracted abusive situations and toxic people. You don't realize that you're the one that's attracting all of this.
That's right. That's right. And your first therapist she just had the wrong approach, because you have to be very mindful of the way you word things with people. Ask questions instead of, projecting onto someone that it's your fault. You did this, you did that. If you approach it with, well, why do you think this is occurring? Or, what has happened in your life? Where is this pattern coming from? And if you ask with the gentler way, you go a lot further. Because, if somebody comes at you with you, right away, you're on defense. It's like, what? That's a tag word.
Yeah. I didn't ask to be born into this. Then later I realized I did.
That's right.
Like, I feel like it's our soul's contract. This is a part of our learning,
And it brings us to the work we do, Robyn.
Huh?
And it all brings us to the work we do. It helps us develop to be the people that we become. That's soul purpose.
To be honest, my show has helped me learn a lot about myself in general, and I get advised by my own advice. It's crazy.
I get it.
Yeah. So what are some other things that you're going to talk about on your show? What are things? I know you're very intuitive. So what about readings? What do you?
I'll do messages. It all depends. I'm going to allow spirit to guide me and flow. Yes. And like I said, get some interaction to see what people really want to hear about, what they want to know. We're in a very turbulent time, and it's, collectively, energetically, but individually, we are also, Pluto's back around. Pluto brings up and exposes and removes the negative and the bad. And it's doing that on a collective level. But with working with my counseling clients, I see that it's happening on an individual level, not just my counseling clients, even people that come for readings. Things are getting lifted within us that needs to be cleared out and recognized, looked at, dealt with, forgiven, whatever the situation calls for.
And I believe that. That's exactly what most of us are all going through. And so, look, and
Mm-hmm.
it's making me burp. Partially because I drink some water, but water is actually really good for you. But what's crazy is I have this app on my phone where I scan the barcodes, and this water that my sister likes to drink because it balances out her pH or whatever, it got bad. It said it was
Yeah.
bad. And I'm like,
What
holy
app
cow,
do you
you even
use?
have to watch the water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I did on natural health, when I studied that, one of the first courses was about water and pure water purification and the different types. And I can remember because it was way back in the 90s, like early 90s. And everyone in my family was like, water's water. It's like they used to tell me, salt, salt. I'm like, no, it's not. It's, and I was always like ahead of the rest of the pack, I would say. Even my son said, because I was brewing my own kombucha back then also. And now I wish I thought to bottle it because it's on every supermarket and health food store. And even in the gas station convenience stores, they sell it. And I was like, man, I missed the boat on that. But, my son even said, he goes, Mom, you were always so far ahead of your time, not even knowing what really guided me to get into looking at nutrition closely was I was diagnosed with Lyme disease in 1990.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
thought, this is not going to get me. I'm going to overcome this. I had some serious battles with it over the years, but, I thank God every day. I'm not in a wheelchair. I had to get a hip replaced, a few years ago, but I'm still here. And I feel really good. I'll be 61 in August. So,
Wow. And you look
I count
absolutely,
it as a blessing.
you look great. You're stunning, and your hair and your skin is beautiful.
Thank
So,
you.
you're welcome. So, you studied a little bit about medicine. Did you tell me you were a nurse? Or
I
what
was a
what were you
specialized
doing?
clinical I was a specialized clinical tech. I worked in cardiology and I did phlebotomy. But I
Oh, okay.
worked, yeah, and then that kind of catapulted me into like the Western medicine world is upside down. I would be doing stress tests with the doctor, and we talked to the people when they were on the treadmill, and it was like they were so out of touch about nutrition. And they would be like, well, just take a Centrum. And I'm like, Centrum? Just because it's the highest advertised vitamin, the functional medicine docs, we call it the bedpan bullet because you don't absorb it. It goes out in your waste. You find them in the bottom of the septic tanks because they don't get, you can't break them down because there's so many fillers in it. So there's so many things like that we have been deceived with. And a lot of it has to do with marketing. Everybody's so good with being manipulated, brainwashed to believe things because of the way they present it.
Yes,
I
and
just I just read an article, I think it was on Dr. McCullough's site. And if you're really interested in honest nutrition, he's another good source. Um, and it was called the Dorito effect. And when they started with the artificial flavoring, that really started to mess up our society because we get cravings for things because we're low in it. Maybe it's salt we need, or we need some kind of other carbohydrate or a vitamin, and we crave the food, but because of all this artificial flavors now, we're craving stuff that isn't actually food, that does not provide the nutrition.
That's terrible, really, when you think about it. And
You
I was
start reading
telling,
labels, Robyn, you'll get some eye opener. What is the app that you scan your food with?
it's called Yuka, Yuka,
I'll
and
have
I
to look at
scan
it.
everything, and even like it'll tell you, we're sorry, we don't. What is it'll say? Like if you scan something, it doesn't recognize or it doesn't do. But even hair products, there's so much garbage. Like in the hair products, and I'm also a
Right.
hairstylist, and I can go to the beauty supply house and get some stuff. But I scanned something. I think I was in Walmart. It was some kind of shampoo, and it was toxic, but it
Yeah.
said it was all natural. So
Right.
they're telling you these things are natural. So can you explain that a little bit? So when they say it's
So
natural, how are they allowed to say that? If
because
it's
the products, some of them are derived from natural things or they're altered just a little bit, but there's a percentage, and the FDA regulations are very broad. You know, they want to get into regulating supplements and nutritional supplementation. Let's pray they don't, because once they do that, we're not going to get what we're supposed to be getting. And reading labels are so important because I always say if it has a ton, more than like 5 ingredients, you want to stay away from it. If you can't read the words, if it was made in a lab, let it stay in the lab, because our bodies are not meant to digest things that are made in the lab. Our creator created this wonderful body that functions so beautifully and gave us everything we need to nourish that. But everything's got quick, fast, altered. We're a society of consumers now. We just buy and shop and eat and go, and that's not what's important in life.
yes, and
So
getting
that's how
back
they
to
get away with the natural. And it's, just because it's in nature, you think about, you don't want to eat a poinsettia leaf because that's toxic, but it's natural. So,
yeah,
there's,
that's like something Tiffany brought up about eating beaver poop or something. I forget what it was, but they're saying it's all natural.
yeah,
Are you kidding me?
right. Well, and it's the truth, you got it, because they can manipulate the words. What's real is, who knows? I always say, do your own research, really dig into things. Don't, even when, doctors recommend things, you look into it. When I started working in the medical field, my aunt Jeannie, aunt for some people, but I'm from Jersey, so we say aunt.
I have an Aunt
She
Jeannie too, Aunt. I call
and
her
I was
Aunt.
so nervous about working with these doctors. And she said, just remember, they're humans also. They put their pants on one leg at a time. And it's the truth. They, just because they have all this education doesn't mean they're right about everything for you. So really always do your due diligence.
Okay, I have to pop up just for 1 second.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, thank you,
There's
Joyce.
a
If you
cat
have
that's
any
trying to come in
topic,
here.
let
There's
me
a cat
know.
that's
You can.
trying to come in here, and there's a litter box in here, I thought. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what my daughter did. She's cleaned up this office a little bit so I'd have some space. That was so sweet of her.
I was just
So,
I was just reading
I'm
Joyce's comment, and I just said that, thank her, and if she wants to email me, topics or concerns, she can do that.
Yes, so Joy says I'm in the process of overhauling my diet, so your show will be of benefits. And I'm so excited for your show so I can learn because I really don't know what I'm doing. So I'm learning as I go. And
Well,
I read
the other
your, go ahead.
go ahead. I was just
No,
going
I'm
to say the other thing is that, you know, one man's nutrition is another man's poison. So when I talk about connecting to your soul and your divinity, you really connect to your body and understanding what foods it needs and where it's at. You know, you really can listen and you can guide, and you look at your body as the temple of your soul. So you really only want to put nourishing, healthy things into it. Now, you know, I'm not saying that when I had my office in Florida, I always use, it's the 80-20 rule. We live in this world. We go to birthday parties. We go out with friends. We have our cocktails or glasses of wine, things like that. So it's not 100%. You have to keep a healthy balance.
That's it. And so this
That's
is
it.
going to be great. So you teach people how to connect with their soul, to learn what they need for their bodies.
Right. Right.
That's
Yeah. Well,
amazing.
part of it, that's part of it. You know, usually it takes a while before we get onto the food thing. It's, and not everybody needs that. The understanding is because as you start to get well emotionally and spiritually, the other things seem to fall into place.
That's amazing. Also, did you tell me that you were a grieving counselor? Are you studying that or?
I'm actually, that's the schooling I'm doing now. I'm
Okay,
working
great,
on
great.
getting that certification. I have complete certification in spiritual counseling through the American Institute for Health Professionals. And now I'm doing their Christian spiritual counseling, which brings me in, it's prerequisites to get into the grief counseling.
Nice, because I and like many others have lost a family member, and I know going through the whole COVID thing, and we've lost loved ones, and my mother transitioned and a couple of years ago, and I think it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And I had a friend of mine tell me, "Well, maybe you need to see a grieving counselor." Like me, I can get over it, but I
Yeah.
started thinking about that. So you're going to be of great help to a lot of people with all your specialties and talents.
So grief, we all experience it differently. So I lost my mother, you lost your mother, but even though that was our mothers, our relationships were different. The grieving process is different. I am the daughter of a funeral director. I was raised in the funeral home.
Oh,
I worked in the business. I served my apprenticeship, never went into the business, but I grew up around death. And I feel like I had a completely different outlook on it. I can remember when I was younger, and you know, when you had sleepovers, no one would ever want to sleep at my house. I had one girlfriend that would sleep at my house, and my father would say, you know, it's not the dead ones you have to worry about; it's the live ones. And he's so right. He was so right about that, and so many other things. And when I was in high school, I started to think they really should teach about death in school to get a better understanding, because when you realize that it's as much part of life as living is, we all die, everything dies, and we should celebrate that because we're going on, our soul goes on, it's just we're leaving this human body.
yeah. So I believe, yeah. So we go on to our soul is going on to a different plane of existence. So
Right.
just because we're not here. So what was that? That YOLO, you only live once. And I'm like, no, we live every day. Whoever came up with
Yeah.
that? We live every day. We die once. We
Yeah.
leave this planet, leave our shells. You know, this is our vessel that we're going to lead to onto another thing. But every day we're living, we need to live.
That's
So
it.
many of
I'm
us are not
excited about
actually
that.
living.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'm excited about death. Not that I'm like suicidal. I mean, I want to stay and see my grandkids grow up, but I mean, I'm really excited to see what's on the other side, especially, you know, having psychic gifts and connecting to past loved ones. And you know this, Robin, it's, you know, that they're still living. They're still, their soul's still there. So the communication is there. So I'm excited about seeing what that's like, but I'm not in a hurry to see.
Yeah, so our loved ones come around all the time. And so that's just amazing. So when did you first learn that you had special gifts? Did this
Oh, I
come
had them
about?
when I was really young, before probably the age 4 or 5. That my family all said that I had imaginary friends, but I know they weren't, because I can still see them. And when my mother would get up at night to check on me, and I wouldn't be in my bed, I'd be down in the dark funeral home playing with my friends. And I was always off. My mother would say, there she goes again, you know, marching to her own drummer. I was always off in my own world, but I was in the world with my friends, with the spirits. And when I was younger, I believe that I had more clairvoyance, where now I have more clairaudience and clairsentience. But I do get some clairvoyance, and I've opened up to the mediumship and welcoming in past loved ones. And so they come in when they have a message to give.
Wow. So
But
let me
yeah,
read a
but
few.
it blocked it. Go ahead, read.
Oh, no, I'm listening. I was going to read a few of the comments out. So we are streaming on different platforms. And so some of the platforms, they only list, they can only hear what's, we're talking about. So we like to read the comments so people can hear.
Okay.
And especially if there's anybody that is unable to see, they can hear what we're actually talking about. So, I mean, the comments. So, Goldylocks Production says, I love Mary's hair. Your hair is so beautiful, Mary.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was younger, I didn't think it was so great. Everybody had straight Farrah Fawcett hair.
Yeah, and Tammy says, I love Dr. Mercola and Aaron. Wow. And the Yuka app she put on there, YUKA. And then Tammy says, Robyn turned me on to that app. So, and Joyce is overhauling her diet. Good. Yes, my body craves different, more healthy things. And have you noticed that with a lot of people right now? Are we going through some kind of collective thing where we're dropping all the terrible stuff and craving healthier things? Or
I think it's more of the awareness of the manipulation that we have been given by, I don't want to get into that arena, but
yes,
I think you all know
I
what
get
I'm talking about.
yes. I was
Yeah,
wondering
and
because a
people,
lot of huh?
I think people are starting to really think for themselves, and they're not
Yeah.
really trusting all the things that they have been fed, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And as you start to clean
Literally.
up your diet, yeah, and when you start to clean up your diet and you start to eat healthier, you'll realize when you do have something, it doesn't taste as good. You know, things that you think that you thought that you liked, you no longer really enjoy them, because you can really taste the artificialness once you
Yes,
start
that's
eating
what's
real.
happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things I'm like, oh, I just can't even eat it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's, and the thing about the artificial sweeteners, they are like 10 times more sweet than real sugar is. And that portion of your brain that connects to that sweetness is the same portion of the brain that connects to like cocaine. So it's so addictive. So when you go off of regular sugar and you start using the artificial sweeteners, now you have this, it's magnified. So that one slice of cake that would have satisfied you before no longer satisfies you. You have to eat a second slice of cake because you're so used to that extra sweetness of the artificial sweetener. So it tricks the whole mind and body connection.
Wow, that is crazy. I know when I was pregnant with my son, he is what, 25 now. I was pregnant with him. They diagnosed me with gestational diabetes and told me what I never really ate a whole lot of sweets. That's something that I don't really crave is sugar. I just never
Mhm.
snacked on sugar. But they told me I wasn't allowed to have any sugar and all this. And I'll never forget it. I was at a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese with my daughter, who was 6, and I was craving a Coke. I don't know why, because I never drank soda, but for some reason I wanted a soda. And I remember the nutritionist said, "Oh, you're not allowed to have sugar." So I got the Diet Coke and I was deathly ill. I was so
Yeah.
ill off of that. And then later on, I got some yogurt one time that had I didn't realize it. And when they say fat free or low fat, they really
It's a
put a
chemical.
lot of huh?
I was going to say
What's a
when they
cool
say fat free, it's a chemical shit storm because that's what that really means. That's what it should
Yes.
say.
So I got so sick and I realized it had all this artificial stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything that's artificial. And I had a friend who was crippled. Well, her daughter was crippled. At age 17, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And she was drinking Diet Pepsi all the time. And she finally
Mm-hmm.
went to this one doctor who was a holistic doctor. He said, "What are you putting in your body? Or any artificial? What are you drinking?" She said, "Diet
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi." He said, "Get rid of it. It's pure garbage. Pure garbage," he
Yeah.
told her. "Get rid of it and your symptoms are going to go away." And they did. She
Yeah.
did. She
Yeah.
wasn't like that anymore.
Yeah. I think I had my last soda. I was about maybe 25 years old. And I haven't drank a soda since. I drink water. I drink like naturally flavored seltzer water and that kind of stuff. I love to drink teas. I buy a lot of different herbal tea mixes. I do a lot of events. I do the Illuminate Festival and different psychic fairs and expos. And there's usually somebody there with some really good natural herbal teas that they concoct themselves. So I have a French press, which is usually used for coffee, but I use it strictly just for my loose herbal teas. And then I'll make a pot of that, and then I'll make iced tea out of it. If like this time of year now, I'm starting to do more iced tea than hot tea. But yeah, it's so good.
That's great. So we're really going to learn a lot about nutrition and different things off of your show. So let me get back to the comments. Veronica says, "That makes sense. The more healing I do, I'm more connected with what my body wants and needs."
There you go.
So
Good job, Veronica.
that's it. And she also says, "My father is a retired funeral director, so I understand." So she knows where you're coming from.
Right. Great.
And so Wednesday, Joyce says Wednesday, what time? Pacific time. So no, so your show is tomorrow at 4 Eastern Standard.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I know that, because we're in the same time zone.
Right. We're neighbors.
We are actually.
Yeah.
So Veronica says it's 5:30 a.m. her time. Holy
Ouch.
moly, Veronica. So the good thing about being on YouTube is the viewers can go back and rewatch the shows. So
Hmm.
I'm sure when we go back and rewatch your show, we're still going to get everything we need out of it. So that's really
Right.
great.
Right. And on my website, I do a, a 20-minute spiritual counseling consultation. And that's,
Oh, great.
it's, well, I do, it's not just on my website. I do 20-minute complimentary counseling consultation calls. So you can go to my website and schedule that. I have all my services there that you can schedule. I don't, like I said, I don't more necessarily do like health coaching anymore, but it's all combined. So, you know, the counseling, if I'm counseling somebody and there is a physical ailment, you know, I might receive something and make a supplement recommendation, which I can do freely because of my background. Plus, I am board certified as a drugless practitioner, which means that I can recommend nutritional supplementation because of the education
That
that I have.
that's awesome because I'm all the time telling people disclaimer, I'm not a doctor,
Yeah,
but
I'm not a
so
doctor by any means.
are you so you're when you connect with someone, are you able to pick up anything like for me, like I can pick up if they're having a problem with their neck or something like that. Are you medically intuitive when it comes to
Not to that level. That I'll get, like, if they suffer from you know, headaches, or they have digestion issues, stomach issues. But then it's connected to what's going on emotionally, but I can make,
so you pick
you
that
know,
up?
yeah,
That's
and
great.
it's yeah, it's, well, you know, there is no, like, I'm going to definitely get this off of a person because it's at the energy of the time of the reading of what they need at that time. So, you know, if it's predominant, yeah, you know, you know, I was counseling someone for a while who had she had this dizzy spells. And, you know, it got her to the point where she wasn't even leaving the house that much because she'd have these anxieties about being dizzy, but it was all emotional. It was not anything to do with, you know, a physical problem. And when we went back to where it began and we looked at what happened, then we were able to heal that and correct that. And I mean, she still has a little bit of a struggle, but she's going out. And she wasn't leaving her house when she first started working with me.
Yeah. So Goldylocks Tiffany says, I was just wondering what time that would be for Veronica. Veronica said 5:30 a.m. That's real early. Yeah, I'm not an early morning person, so that would be too early. And Tim says, yes, manipulating us for sure. So getting back to the whole doctors, my mother kept getting reoccurring bronchitis all the time. And my guidance was telling me it was something to do with her medicine. I'm like, Mom, it has to do with something you're taking. You're getting that's a side effect. You need to talk to the
Hmm.
doctor. What side effect? Do you know they had her on this high blood pressure medicine that was causing chronic bronchitis? And once
I
they took
believe
her
it.
off of that, it was going away. So, and it's good to really learn about wholesome ways of dealing with things. And I look things up all the time. Supplements, different supplements for different things,
Yeah.
and actually, Tiffany has helped me a lot with that too because she does sunshine healing. Is that what it's called? Tiffany might could post it. Sunshine. Well, the vitamins, sunshine something. I can't think of what it's called and really gotten some good vitamins off of that. So Tammy says her mind is clearer when I feed my body well. So it is,
Yeah.
isn't it,
Yeah.
Mary?
Yeah, because I always say garbage in, garbage out. So you fill yourself with garbage, your thoughts, everything is going to be garbage. Your skin's going to look like garbage. And you know, earlier, Robyn, you had said about that app and even the hair care products. Think about the lotions and the soaps that you use on your body. Your body is the largest organ, and when you put something on topical, you're absorbing that into your body.
Yes, and
So
I've learned a lot, and so there's not enough time to talk about that kind of stuff. Maybe you can bring up, and I also don't know what is appropriate to say because they're
right,
censoring you all the time. But
I
I
know
have
that's
realized that a lot of the stuff that I put on my skin and the stuff that they're saying is protecting you. Do you know the sun heals your body and the sun
Mhm.
gives you all this information and downloads of lots of things, and they want you to cover that yourself up and not absorb the sun. That's wonderful healing. I learned a lot of stuff that causes cancer. When you can look up all the ingredients, it'll tell you.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
Robert says, is Propel water okay? I get about a case a week.
I'm
Propel.
not sure what's in that. Read the label. If it's got sugar added, if it's got flavors added, if they're I don't know. I can't comment on that. I'm unaware. You got to get the app that Robin has and scan it. It'll tell you.
Yeah, so Tiffany posted our links up. Excuse me.
Thank you,
And so it's
Tiffany.
Nature Sunshine. Huh?
Okay.
Nature Sunshine. And then I also, my friend Tammy, I forget, she also sells nutrition too. She had, and I forget what hers is called. Wow, I can't think. So anyway, Tiffany says, and natural sunshine too. Get out in the sun with no sunscreen and no sunglasses on. Giggles. Thanks, Richard. Richard says
That's
natural
right.
sunshine. And
Yeah, I,
so
I
you
just
can,
I told Tiffany I got a chance. I got out on the bike today, my bicycle, and because I had a day. It was like one thing after the other. So it was like I got to take a break. I got to get out in the sun and fresh air and enjoy the beauty. And I got on my bike, and it was great.
I like walking the beach and just having your toes in the sand is really good. It helps
Yeah,
ground you, good for your vibration. So
right.
I'm so glad you're going to have a show on
So am
Wednesday. So
I.
that's going to be great. And we're going to, will you stop? There's a cat scratching me. Go somewhere else. Um, Hold on a minute. He got his claws. Cat. I'm in a more peaceful environment, but I let a cat in to go to the bathroom, and now he's like clawing me. But anyway, so yeah, getting outdoors is very good for you. And I feel like we're going to learn so much off of your show. I'm super excited, really, to
So am
have
I.
you. So, do you do any messages? Do you have any messages you want to put out for the viewers or anything?
Yeah, we could.
Well, we had Richard made a donation, so I can
Let's
pull
do
a
Richard.
card. Here, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull a card from my law of attraction cards, and then you can say what you think. Or would you rather
Okay,
have someone
Richard. We're
ask you a
doing Richard.
question?
No, no, we can do this.
We have a couple of minutes. So for
Okay,
the
so
viewers who have made a donation, we have Richard. Do you have any?
yeah, so I'm going to start with Richard. I
Okay,
feel
great.
that yeah, I'm getting that you're very fatigued. Your body is like on overload. Um, be very careful with maintaining a balance, getting enough rest, drinking enough good water, and watch what you're eating. Prepare. I feel like I get this sense that you do a lot of grabbing on the go kind of thing, and you're not even mindful sometimes. So just be careful of that and the balance of what you're eating and how much sleep you're getting, and you're going to move in a positive way that way. I just got the positive movement forward card, but I also got light. You're headed to a brighter, lighter direction. I don't know what you're doing as far as working on yourself. Um, and there's something that you've been waiting for that's going to be coming to fruition, something that you've been working on or waiting for. Hope that
Wonderful.
helps.
We also, did I cut you off?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm good.
I thought, and I also suffer with hearing problems. I grew up with hearing, so sometimes I don't hear everything right. So we also have Tamara. Are you picking up anything for her?
Let me tap in there. Ooh, I get a lot of good energy around you, Tamara. Like you're excited about, like you're opening up to being excited about life. You're learning a lot about yourself, and there's a lot of opportunity coming your way. So embrace that and be grateful. Stay in that gratitude every day, like I believe that you already have started doing, and staying in the moment and being aware of the things that are coming towards your way. Be patient with yourself. That was the card that came out for you, was patience. And I feel that the patience is with yourself, with your growth.
Wow, that's amazing. We also have, let me see how much time. We have a couple of minutes left. I know Robert posted first that he would like Robert Myers. Are you getting anything for him?
Give me a minute. Wow, it's like I get a lot of like I get a lot of hurried energy, and it's not like it's like you're doing a lot of things. You're expanding, you're learning, you're going, you're creating, and it's like you're on this projectile. I'm going for it, and you're doing very well. I also feel that you get that you have a little hard on yourself, and you don't do the kindness and patience with yourself. And for you, I got spiritual strength. So I feel that you're very strong in that area. And that hurrying is that I was getting, I think pertains to that. You just want to get to that level of enlightenment, and you just want to keep going and going and expanding.
Wow, that was beautiful. I know we're almost out of time. Is there anyone else who would like a message? If not, we're going to carry on. So I'm just so excited for your show. I feel like I'm going to learn a lot of stuff. Lots, all of us, all the viewers. And so you're helping a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And there'll be like, a lot of things repeat, because when you think about all the great sacred texts, everything is pretty much the same. It's just different verbiage. So it's just like, I just keep repeating. But sometimes it comes out in a different way, and somebody will be like, oh yeah, now that makes sense.
Yes. And so I have to say, our viewers, Tammy, I call her Tammy, and Richard, and Robert, I'll say thank you, Mary, for the message.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me.
We did not have enough time to give all the viewers messages, but I feel like since you were here listening to the show, you received what you needed out of it. And so we are all learning how to be more health conscious. And so what Mary's show is going to really help us on a conscious level, a cosmic level. So we're all going to learn a lot from her show, which will be aired tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Veronica says, nice to meet you, Mary, and thanks, Robyn. So I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Any last words, Mary?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.